Good afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS. We'll discuss current affairs of 6th May. First is, which of the following statement is not correct about Sardar Patel National Unity Award? Sardar Patel National Unity Award. It is the highest civilian award in the field of unity and integrity. Yes, this is right. Highest civilian award in terms of integrity and unity, right? Not more than 3 awards given in a year. This is also right. It can be given posthumously in high deserving cases. Yes. Next, next is the award is given of medal and a monetary grant. No, no medal or monetary grant will be given. Monetary grant will be given. So this B statement is the not correct, right? B is the not correct sentence. Sardar Patel Unity Award. It is highest civilian award in unity and integrity. No medal or monetary grants, and given not more than 3 awards given in a year. It can be given posthumously in high deserving cases. In the recent context of the term, Sahakar se Samriddhi is often associated with which ministry? Right. Which ministry? This is Ministry of Cooperation. It is a new ministry. Ministry of Cooperation. Sahakar se Samriddhi. Right. What is this Ministry of Cooperation? It's a new ministry that is created to develop cooperation and structuring or development of our socio-economic needs. Right. For example, your there are various cooperative societies, right? They cooperate with each other. For example, in a village, suppose there is problem of irrigation, then 10 farmers they can jointly contribute to a borewell and all can solve the problem of irrigation. But a single farmer cannot contribute to the whole amount. So this is cooperation. So Ministry of Cooperation is a new type of cooperation. Its slogan is Sahakar se Samriddhi. This is the slogan of Ministry of Cooperation. That is community based developmental partnership. Right? To develop community based developmental partnership. That is Ministry of Cooperation. Okay, next. Which are the following measures RBI to take control of inflation? Right. Inflation means, what do you mean by inflation? Rise of decline in value of money, decline in value of money, or rise in prices. That is, or inflation. Repo rate is the rate at which RBI gives money to bank. Right, that is repo rate. So when you increase the repo rate, what happens? Bank will take less loan from RBI, and accordingly, if interest rate increased by RBI, then interest rate of bank to consumers will also increase. So when interest rate will be high, then people will not take loan. So ultimately, money will not go to the into the market, and that will reduce the money. Right? When money supply is reduced, then inflation decreases. So it is right. Decrease in reverse repo rate. Reverse repo rate means the rate at which RBI takes loan from bank. Right. If that is reduced, then RBI will take more money from the bank. Ultimately, bank will also, so decrease. There will be decrease in money supply. Sorry, control inflation, right? Yes, decrease in reverse repo rate means uh, RBI can take more money from the banks. And how that will control inflation? In case of decrease in reverse repo rate means the rate at which bank gives loan to the RBI, right? So ultimately, the money in banks get reduced, when money in bank get reduced, bank, and there is a constant demand from the consumers, then bank will increase the interest rate to the consumers because supply of money is less. When supply of money is less in the bank, they will raise the interest rate. So ultimately consumers will take less loan. If they will take less loan, what will happen? The supply of money in the market will also decrease. So this is decrease in reverse repo rate. This will not serve the purpose of declining inflation. Then carry out open market operation. Open market operation means open market operation means giving the money. Just a second. Yes. So we are discussing carry out open market operation. Right. It's a banking operation in which it involves receiving liquidity or supplying liquidity to the bank. For example, there is something called as suppose securities. Government can do something like providing securities and take the money from public, or giving money to the public, uh, giving money to the public in exchange of government securities. This is open market operation. So when government gives money to purchase, you purchase the bonds, then at that time inflation will increase. So both may happen. We cannot say that by open market operation there will be control inflation. Maybe inflation will also increase. So in only one only is the answer, that is increasing the reverse repo rate. And which of the following date has been observed World Pulmonary Hypertension Day? Pulmonary Hypertension Day, 5th May. Right. Very factual. 5th May, Pulmonary Hypertension Day, 5th May. Remember, such this is your this is a non-communicable diseases. Over the years, the non-communicable diseases has become doubled, and the communicable diseases that become half. Right. So there is a paradigm shift in our health sector. So our policy must be made according to that. Government is more and more focusing on um, more and more focusing on non-communicable diseases because that has become more in present time. Share has become increased. Okay, consider the following statements. A, a cloned animal is not the same as a genetic modified animal. Is not the same as a genetic modified animal. Yes. A cloned animal share the same DNA with another animal, while genetical modified animal has change in DNA. Yes. Genetical modified means obviously the change. Modification means change. So genetical modified means DNA is changed. For example, GM crops, their DNA has changed. Right, that is GM crops. So, but clone means similar thing. Similar, it has some character, bear the similar characteristics. So both are different. So both the statements are right here. Right. Then Constitution 105th, Constitution 105th Amendment Act 2021, right, deals with which of the following statement restore the power of state governments to identify and specify socially and educationally backward classes. Next, case of reservation of seats of Anglo-Indians in the Lok Sabha or state assemblies, introduce 10% reservation for economically weaker section, or give constitutional status to National Commission of Backward Classes. Obviously, this is 105th Amendment Constitutional Amendment is related to the power of state governments to identify and specify socially and educationally backward classes, that is SCBC. 105th Constitutional Amendment. Next, Operation Clean Art. What is this Operation Clean Art? It is related to mongoose. What is this? What is this issue? Issue is that the mongoose hair. The mongoose hair, they are important. I mean, they are used in making paint process. Right? They are used very good for paint process. So mongoose hair has been collected and they are post because of that. That's why to save them, Operation Clean Art has been launched. Mongoose is protected under Wildlife Protection Act in Schedule 2. Why it is Schedule 2? Because it is its IUCN status is least concern. IUCN status is least concern. Right? IUCN status is least concern. That's why it's mongoose. Then which D is the answer. Operation Clean Art paint process. Which of the following are possible consequences of uh, heavy sand mining in the river beds? Decrease in salinity of the river. Salinity increases when sand mines that um, when heavy sand mining occurs, that does not decrease, that increase the salinity of the river, right? Mm. Then next is pollution in the groundwater. Obviously heavy sand mining, pollution in the groundwater, because there is nothing to be filtered. So there is pollution of the groundwater. If sand got reduced, sand especially they filter the groundwater, but when sand got reduced, pollution of groundwater affected, lowering the water table, that also because there is nothing to hold the water. So 2 and 3 options are right options, right? Next, then Matosino's manifesto. Matosino's manifesto, it is was seen in the news, is essentially associated with which of the following? Is Roscosmos is of Russia, JAXA that is of Japan, and European Space Agency. Answer is European Space Agency, Matosino's manifesto. Why it is that? It is European Space Agency. They have taken a resolution regarding, they have taken a objective to increase the use of space in Europe. Right? Why it is? To increase use of space, to increase use of space in Europe, right? The European Space Agency. Why? Why to increase the space use? First thing is for your natural, to, to control the natural hazards, control natural hazards, right? One of the objective is to control natural hazards and to get information for scientific development, right? To resilience crisis response, for green future as well, right? How to reduce greenhouse gases to green future. For all these objectives, Operation Matosino's manifesto, so Matosino's manifesto was launched by European Space Agency. Then what is zero deficit zero effect scheme? Is under the aegis of which of the following ministry? Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises, C. Zero deficit zero effect scheme. Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Yes, C is the answer, right? Micro, small, medium. What is this zero deficit and zero effect? It is especially to maintain the quality of goods, right? Zero defect and zero effect. It actually zero deficit, not zero deficit. This is zero defect and zero effect. Zero defect means high quality products, and a zero effect means that must be environmentally sustainable. Environmentally sustainable. environmentally sustainable zero effect scheme, right? So that is under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, especially those who are MSMEs, small industries, to produce better quality of goods, and that must be environmentally sustainable. That means zero carbon, less carbon emission. So the objective question discussion is over. Now we will have study some prelims facts. India's position in Press Freedom Index. What is India's position in Press Freedom Index? India's ranking in the 2022 World Press Freedom Index has fallen from 150 to 180 countries. According to latest report released by Global Media Watchdog Reporters Without Borders or RSF. Reporters Without Borders, they have said that India's press freedom has decreased. Right? In last year's report, India was ranked 142. The top three positions for countries with highest press freedom were taken by Nordic trio of Norway, Denmark and Sweden. Norway, Denmark and Sweden, they are called as Nordic trio. They have the top position so far as press freedom is concerned. What is RSF? It is an international NGO. RSF is an international NGO, self-proclaimed aim to defend and promote media freedom. To defend and promote media freedom, headquarter is in Paris. Remember the headquarter of World Press, headquarter of the RSF, right? That is in Paris. It is a It has consultative status with United Nations. The objective of World Press Freedom Index, which it releases every year, is to compare the level of press freedom enjoyed by journalists in and media in 180 countries and territories in the previous calendar year. The RSF defines press freedom as the ability of journalists, of individuals to collectives to select, produce, disseminate news in the public interest, independent of political, economic, legal, social interference, in the absence of threats to the physical and mental safety. Right? Why such issues are generating in India? At present, if you will observe that, so far as many news channels are concerned, they are peddling fake news, right? Because they have a particular agenda to support a particular political party, right? Almost all the political parties have such fake news trolls, and they are sending many misinformations. And even in the mainstream media news channel also, the whole news channel has been divided between divided between different ideologies, right? One particular news channel, they project all the, for example, some particular news channel, they have always opposition to the government views, and some particular news channels have always in support of the government views, right? Some, on the other words, we can also say some are representing the voice of opposition and some are representing the voice of government. Not a single, it is very difficult to find a single mainstream media which is both criticizing and also both supporting the government to the decisions of government, right? No government, no media channel talks the whole story. All, they are always take a one-sided view, right? So that's why they are not giving the complete information regarding one particular issue. So either they are controlled by the opposition or they are controlled by the government, right? So that is why they are not independent, because if somebody is independent, he will criticize all the governments, he will criticize all the government, and also he will also, if some particular scheme is good, he will also give the news. But this is not actually happening. Either a news channel will criticize the government or it will praise the government in different way. So that means their agenda is set by a particular person or a political party, and there is economic, political and social interest with respect to that, right? And and also there is a threat, yes, threats to their physical safety and mental safety. Physical safety and mental safety, why it such things happen? Some journalists are also, they are attacked because they have a difference with government. And also it is also seen that some people attack them. Why they attack them? Because to certain extent they always also give one sided view that is related to one agenda. They have one agenda, right? Maybe that is always against the government, or maybe that is always in support of the government. Especially it is seen that the journalists the journalists are associated from both the ideas, for example left and right. Both from both parties they are arrested from different government. For example, there is a left government, they will arrest a journalist from who is supporting rightist views. Suppose there is rightist government, they will arrest a journalist who is supporting leftist views. Journalists are not neutral, right? They represent a particular ideology in India. So that's why different governments have been taking strong action against them. What is the methodology used by RSF to assess the rank of the countries? The countries are ranked after being assigned score ranging from 0 to 100, 100 representing the highest possible level of press freedom and 0 to the worst. Next, highest possible press freedom and 0 to the worst. The scoring has two components: quantitative ones that tallies abuses against journalists, media outlets, quantitative analysis based on the responses of press freedom specialists, journalists, researchers, human rights defenders, and RSF questionnaire. These are the basis on which RSF is categorizing the media houses. Countries are evaluated on five contextual indicators: physical context, legal framework, economic context, socio-cultural context, safety, right? Countries are evaluated on the context of indicators: political context, legal framework, economic context, social and safety. But for instance, a political context indicator considers, among the other things, the degree of support for the media in their role of holding politicians and government account in the public interest. The degree of support for the media. That means those media who is holding the politicians and government account. Those media houses who are criticizing the government or bringing them to account to the public interest. How much those media get support, right? That also calculated. A subsidiary score ranging from 0 to 100 is calculated for each indicator, and all the subsidiary scores together contribute to the global score. In India, which had a score of 53.44, 2021 index has 41 this time, so this has reduced significantly, right? So the press freedom is released by RSF, which is an NGO which has consultative status with United Nations. Reporters Without Borders. What are the findings with regard to world press freedom? In terms of global trends, the report flags twofold increase in polarization. Yes, twofold increase in polarization, right? There is increase of polarization in media, amplified by information chaos. That is media polarization fueling division within the countries, as well as polarization between countries and international level. It notes that within democratic society, divisions are going due to the spread of opinion media, modeled as Fox News, and rise of disinformation circuits, amplified how social media functions. Right? It has also criticized the media as well, that they have become, they are polarizing the things. Polarizing means if somebody is criticizing the government, they are polarizing the things. They are excessively criticize the government without telling the government stand on that, right? Or they have become opinion based news media rather than the news based media, right? Opinion means they have opinion whether government is right or wrong, rather than saying what is happening on the ground, or what the government has done and what the issue. Rather than represent the complete issue, they have some opinion, right, regarding every issue. That has become opinion based media, and they have opinion according to their ideology. All media houses, they have opinion regarding their ideology. While singing out Moldova 40 and Bulgaria 90 fast for the drastic improvements in press freedom change, thanks to a government change, it has classified the situation in 28 countries, including Russia, Belarus, as very bad, and world's 10 worst countries press freedom index: Myanmar, China, Turkmenistan, Iran, Eritrea, North Korea. Right, North Korea is one of the lowest. China it is 175. So they have the less freedom as compared to any other country. What does the index say about India? The report states that India, the violence against journalists, the political partisan media, and the concentration of media ownership all demonstrate that press freedom is in crisis. The violence against journalists, the political partisan media means either they belong to they are the voice of opposition or they are the voice of the government. And the concentration of media ownership, primarily they are owned by some not by media person, they are owned by some businessmen and or by the politicians. The press freedom is in crisis. Describing India as one of the world's most dangerous countries for media, the report notes that journalists are exposed to all kinds of physical violence, including police violence, ambushes by political activists, deadly reprisals by criminal groups or corrupt local officials. Right. So they are harassed by the various officials. The journalists have been harassed. It highlights the supporters of Hindutva, the ideology that spawned Hindu far right, who is all out online attacks on any views that conflict their thinking. Yet there is rise of Hindutva and that opposes any idea that conflict their thinking. What the report's observation on India on the various indicators. On the political context, it says that originally a product of the anti-colonial movement. The India phrase used to be seen as fairly progressive, but things changed radically in the mid 2010 when Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister. He engineered a spectacular reapproachment between his party, the BJP, the big families of the dominating media. It highlights that very early on Modi took a critical stance on journalists, seeing them intermediaries, polluting the direct relationship between himself and his supporters. Right. So Narendra Modi avoided it is alleged by the NGO that Narendra Modi avoided the media and told them that this is there is a direct polluting relationship, creating a polluting relationship between Narendra Modi and its supporters. That's why he has started avoiding the media houses. With regard to legal framework, the report notes that Indian law is protective in theory, but charges of defamation, sedition, contempt of court, endangering national security are increasingly used against journalists critical of the government. Such things are happening. Under economic context, the report describing Indian media as colossus with feet of clay points out that Indian media largely depend on advertising contracts with local and regional government. Right, that is the issue. Media houses are being engaged in advertising. That's why if they are getting huge advertisements, they are not raising their voice against that particular government, so they are becoming almost supporter of the government, some media houses, right? That's the issue. And at national level, central government has seen that it can exploit this to impose its own narrative and now spending more than 150 billion euros a year on advertisements in print and online media alone. So advertisements has increased. Finally, on the socio-cultural indicators of press freedom, but note that enormous diversity of Indian society is barely reflected in the mainstream media. It says that for most of the part, only Hindu men of upper caste hold senior position in journalism and are media executives, a bias that is reflected in media content. For Solomon Island, Fijian in the lingua franca, there are over 80 different local languages plus dialects. Right? So there is lack of diversity in Indian media, especially Hindu upper caste have been dominating the position of journalism and media executives. This is a allegation by RFF. The stratospheric observatory for infrared astronomy, SOFIA. Recently, National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA) announced the end of operations of its observatory, Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy (SOFIA) mission. It is a joint program between NASA and German Aerospace Center (DLR) and is a telescope capable of making observation from onboard on airplane. Okay. NASA announced the end of operations on its observatory Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. End of operation, right? Okay. What is the Stratospheric Observatory Infrared Astronomy? It is a joint program between NASA and the German Aerospace Center (DLR). NASA and DLR both have been cooperating each other to establish this Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy or SOFIA. It is a telescope capable of making observation from onboard on airplane. Observation from onboard on aeroplane. It is a 2.7-meter infrared telescope sitting inside Boeing 7-meter infrared telescope sitting inside a Boeing 747 SP aeroplane flying at an altitude of 38,000 to 45,000 feet above the surface. That is SOFIA telescope. It is a globally unique and the start of regular operation 2014. It has been successfully used for scientific research during total approximately 800 flights. Scientific research. It has designed to observe cosmic projects in far infrared wavelengths. This allows researchers to watch star formation by looking through huge and clouds of gas. So this SOFIA mission, this is announced that the operation of SOFIA mission it will end, right? And this SOFIA mission is the association is done by in NASA in association with German Aerospace Limited or DLR. Right? It is a telescope that make observation, and also it is a 2.7-meter infrared telescope. Right? It flies around an altitude of 38,000 feet to 45,000 feet. Started in 2014. It is approximately it has conducted 800 flights. It can observe cosmic objects, right? And star formation, right? So this is a SOFIA. It is a telescope. About the discoveries and achievements. The project has generated around 309 studies, 309 scientific studies. In 2020, SOFIA discovered water molecules on the sun facing side of the moon. Discovered water molecules on the sun facing side of the moon. Okay. Then SOFIA also discovered helium hydride, fast molecule formed in universe 14 billion years ago. Helium hydride, fast molecule formed in universe after almost 14 billion years ago. SOFIA also identified atmospheric circulation pattern of Jupiter. It has mapped magnetic field within G47, one of the Milky Way spiral arms. So these are the important discoveries and achievements by SOFIA mission that achieved water molecules on moon, discovered helium hydride, right, atmospheric circulation of Jupiter, all these things. Productivity. SOFIA's annual operating budget has been second most expensive operating mission in astrophysics. Second most. Scientific productivity of the mission is not commensurate with the other large science missions. So it is high expenditure. Then purchasing manager index. India's manufacturing sector witnessed faster growth in April, sequentially due to quicker increase in the production factory orders, also renewed expansion of international sales. So purchasing manager index rose from 54 to margin 54 and 4.7 in April. It has increased. Purchasing managing index it has increased. Important discoveries and achievements. The project has generated 309 scientific studies. In 2020, SOFIA discovered water molecules H2O. Sorry, this is already our discussed. Yes, about purchasing manager index. An index of prevailing direction, economic trends, manufacturing and service sector. Remember, this is both calculates the manufacturing and service sector. Both index are calculated, right? First manufacturing, then service sector, both are added. There are two types of PMI, manufacturing and PMI, service PMI. A combined index is also produced, that is using both manufacturing PMI and service PMI. It is an economic indicator which derived after monthly surveys of different companies, that is especially private companies. PMI compiled by IHS Market. IHS Market, it PMI compiled by IHS Market from responses to questionnaires sent purchasing order managers in a panel of around 400 manufacturers based on company's workforce size based contribution to GDP. Right. Survey responses are collected in the second half of each month and indicate direction of change compared to the previous month. The IHS Market is London-based global leader formation analytics solution. Major industries and market drive economies worldwide. So this purchase manager index, they talks about the industrial increase in industrial production, and this is launched by I mean compiled by IHS Market, and it's London based global leader in information and analytics, and it calculates the manufacturing PMI, also in the, and it talks about also the service EMI. It indicates a direction of change of manufacturing and services compared to the previous month. This is purchasing manager index. Let's see how it is calculated from 0 to 100. A print above 50 means expansion, while score below is 50 is contraction. A reading of 50 indicates no change. If the previous month PMI is higher than current month PMI, it represents the economy is contracting. Right. Yes. So when it is more than 50, then that is good for economy. Purpose to provide information about the current and future business conditions to company decision makers. Future business conditions, present and future business condition, that is given PMI. The index helps in determining whether market conditions seen by purchasing managers expanding, contracting, or staying at the same. Market condition, to observe the market condition, PMI is also helps. Right. Then Transnistria. The Ukraine war cast shadow over Transnistria as security alerts. So here it is a risk, Transnistria risk being drawn into Russia and Ukraine war because reports of series explosion in its territory. Right? There is reports of series explosion. What is this Transnistria? It lies between Moldova to the west and Ukraine to the east. Right? Transnistria, and described as remnants of the Soviet Union. Once upon a time was a part of Soviet Union. They have been disintegrated after the breakdown of USSR. It declared independence like Moldova did soon after the breakup from Soviet Union in the 1991. Right. At the time, these Moldovan troops attempted to take over territory in 1992. Transnistria was able to resist them because of Russian soldiers based on Transnistria, right? This protected them. Russian soldier protected them in 1992. Since then, it remained free from Moldovan control. Now there is a series of blasts in Transnistria. However, most countries continue to see Transnistria as a part of Moldova. Right? Moldova, it is your at this position. Suppose this is Ukraine and this is Russia. Here there is Moldova, right? So here it is your Transnistria. Many people think that Transnistria is a part of Moldova. Transnistria is not recognized as independent, not even by Russia. Its economy is dependent on Russian subsidies and free gas. It is dependent on Russia. Most Transnistrians have dual citizen of Russia and Transnistria and triple citizen of Moldova. Right? Some are dual citizen, some are triple citizen in Moldova and Russia. So, what are the language of them? Unlike the rest of Moldova, who speaks Romanian, majority of people in Transnistria speak Russian. Right? Majority of people of Transnistria is Russian and use Cyrillic script like Russians. It has its own government with pro-Russian, a government with pro-Russian parliament, armed forces, constitution, flag, anthem, etc. The referendum held in 2006, 97% translation voted into integration with Russia. After annexation of Crimea, the government asked if it could be absorbed into Russia. Russia, however, was not keen into this. But Transnistria is to host over 1500 Russian peacekeepers and home to large Russian ammunition depot at the Kovasna. So this Transnistria, that is this, they are interested. There is also support of 97% by um, uh, by direct voting, that is called as a referendum held in 2006. So if Russia is interested, they may take the Transnistrians, but Russia is not fully interested. Right. So this is the issue regarding it is Moldova, but Moldova has been claiming over uh, Transnistria, but Transnistria is not interested because most of the people are Russian speaking. Right. So today's lecture end here. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe to VANIK-IAS.